Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you are new to me this first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books, so I hope that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening today. If you are not new to me, thank you for always tuning in, the continued support. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have my weekly wrap up. This is from June 19th to June 25th and all my reading shenanigans in between. And I've got some stuff to talk about. I got some great stuff. I got some fantastic stuff. I got some okay stuff, and I got some really bad stuff. So without further ado, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and let's get talking some books. Okay, so let's just start off with a bang. I finished Queen of Shadows this week. Oh my, where do I even start with this book? It was everything and nothing that I wanted. I don't even know how. This was 5 stars for me. I fucking loved it. I am reading this for the SJM read along hosted by Jen over the Book Refuge. I will link her down below. We are reading everything in every Sarah J. Maas book in publication order, and this was the one I had to read, and oh my god. 4th installment of Throne of Glass series, so we're really hardcore in the series, and we are building up for this massive battle, war, I don't even know, but the shit that went down in this book, I just can't. It was so fucking good. It was so good, but it gave me nothing that I really wanted. I got literally 2 answers to the plethora of questions that I had walking into this book, and I'm just like, Sarah, why are you gonna do this to me? Why? Why you gotta be a bitch like this to me? I love you though. I love it. Oh my god. This furthers the plot along. We get to introduce to a lead, I think is how you say her name, and she becomes like a major player, which I didn't even see fucking coming. How the fuck is she gonna be major player? But yes, Manon's character arc is fucking phenomenal. She is this badass villain who, I love when the villains have that moment where they're like, do I go full villain or do I still hold back and hold some kind of morality? And I got it in this book. It was excellent. Oh my god. So good. Elrond, I'm not quite for sure how you say his name. The big guy is discovered and we figure out who he is. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Didn't see that twist coming. I'm speechless for most of this book. The development with Lysandra, holy shit. Fucking loved her arc. I loved where it went. I loved what Sarah did with her. I love that Island, I don't actually know how you say her real name anymore. I love the relationships that's developing between her. I love that she has that female confidant. Again, so freaking good. Oh my god. Aiden's revelation, his story arc is taken off. I mean, this Kaol's redemption, he's sort of redeemed. He's still fucking a douchebag, and I'm no longer Team Kaol. Nope. This is officially proof that I am no longer Team Kaol. Sorry, Kaol. You done fucked up. You were too annoying in this book for a while, but you brought it back. And then Rowan. Oh my god, the burn in this book was so hot and so there and so still there and not giving me what I fucking wanted. I did not get what I wanted from this book, but goddamn, do I have the foreplay. This is foreplay. This is pure foreplay in fucking page format, sexual frustration, lady blue balls, what the fuck you want to call it, for Rowan and Island's romance. Oh my god, it's everything. Everything. This book is a stepping stone for all of these major character arcs, and they are just going off, and I am dying to read the next installment. I cannot wait till next month, where I think I get to read it next month. I'm not 100% sure. If I don't, I'm gonna probably lose my shit, but then I get to read I get to read the next book in the Court of Thorn Rose series, so I guess we'll be okay. But oh my god, Rowan, Kaol the fuck who? Seriously? Bye. bye, Felicia, like, legit. There you go, bye-bye. And I got my answer for Dorian. Oh my God, yes. This book was everything I wanted, and I got nothing that I wanted. It was just, Sarah is such a talented author, and she just, every single installment is bringing it and delivering it and then giving you more. I'm just like, are you the fucking Energizer Bunny here with this shit? Like, goddamn. I am just, 5 stars. 5 stars. And by the way, this delayed gratification, forcing myself to put it down, like teasing myself, totally fucking worked for this book. Oh my God, it was so worth the torment in this book. It was just everything. Oh, I need a drink. Oh my God, I loved it. I didn't have a single problem with this book. I had a very funny story with this book. When I was finishing it, my husband works evenings, and he came home, and usually when he comes home, he says, "Hey, beautiful." And usually I put said book down, and I'm like, "Hey, babe, how's it going? How was work?" And I start having a conversation with him. No, there was none of that. I think I gave him, according to him, because I was so engrossed in this story, I was so lost in, I was in it. I was like the last 40 pages of this book. So like, if you know, you fucking know where I was at, okay? You know what's going on. I'm not putting shit down. Fuck off. I am reading. Go. So the story relayed back to me is that I said, and then he comes over, and I kind of lift my head a little bit to have him give me a kiss on my forehead, and I proceed to not speak to him for another 2 hours as I'm finishing this book, because I'm just so maybe I was actually maybe 80 pages, because it wasn't 40 pages, but I was at the end. And oh my God, 1 o'clock in the morning comes around, and I read that last page, and I'm like, what? It's over? That was the best climax without a fucking finish I've ever had in my entire goddamn life, and I'm so fucking pissed and turned on and angry and happy, and all of the emotions for this book is just, oh my God, I just, it's just, oh my God, that ending. And I didn't get what I wanted. I didn't get it. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, grrr, and my husband is proceeded to just make fun of me the rest of the night about it. So it was interesting. It was an interesting experience reading this book. I loved every single second of it. Like I said, 5 stars. This thing is just, oh my God, if you've not read this series, go fucking read this series. Obviously you have to read it in order, but go fucking pick up this series just to get to this book, because goddamn. It was good. Oh, and Rowan, I love him so much. Yeah. Okay. So that was Queen of Shadows. I'm gonna put her down. Okay, so after I finished Queen of Shadows, I had yet another 5-star read, and that was this guy. This is Vanquished by Pam Godwin. Yes, the book that scared the crap out of me, that I didn't think I'd be able to actually finish because of that first portion, the first 25% of the book. There is a massive rape scene in it. It's very graphic. It's very intense. I ended up giving this thing a fucking 5-star, and Pam Godwin is legit a goddamn witch. If she can make me hate a character so much at the beginning of the book that I don't even want to continue with the book, and then literally fall in love with this man by the end of the book. I don't know how she does this, but Pam Godwin is a fucking genius. Oh my God, this thing was so, it was so good for so many different reasons than this one. But oh my God, let's just get into it, okay? I have to talk about this book. I've been waiting all week to talk about this book. So this is obviously Vanquished by Pam Godwin. It is the second installment in the Deliver series. And I listened to it on audio, and it was narrated by Joe Raylan and Ryan West. Fantastic combo. The voices they used, the tones that they used, they were a golden pair for this book. I fucking loved it. Oh my God. Yes. Narration buku fucking points on this book for the narration. Fantastic. This book deals with a lot of major trigger issues. I mean, there's a lot in here. And I'm not just talking about sexual triggers. I'm talking about mental and emotional triggers such as agoraphobia, voyeurism, rape, bulimia, body dysmorphic disorders, severe mental issues between both parties. And then you do have some of the BDSM elements that you found in the first installment of the Deliver series, which is Deliver. Now, I have read that you can read these out of order. I personally do not recommend that. Pam does a very, very good job of giving you an idea of what happened in the first book. So you could theoretically pick this one up, but you are going to miss so much. And I don't think you will have this devotion to Van by the end of the book if you don't know what he was in the first book. Because the first book, you do get a pretty good idea of what the fuck's wrong with him. And then you start developing in this book why, and then seeing his growth. And it's just, it's so fucking beautiful. Pam Godwin is a witch with her words. She literally put a spell on you in this book. And it's just fucking, oh my God. It's so beautiful. So the summary of this book, it primarily follows Van and Amber. Van, we meet in the first installment, Deliver. He is in the sex trafficking trade, and he works with Liv to kidnap people and train them into sex slavery. Without giving away the first book, Van gets out of it, and in the process has lost his partner in crime, Liv. And so we meet Van stalking Liv in the beginning of the book, which is how he encounters Amber, because Liv lives literally right next door to Amber. And Amber is a shut-in. She suffers from agoraphobia, which, if you are not familiar with that, it is an anxiety disorder that often develops after one or more panic attacks. Symptoms include fear and avoidance of places and situations that might cause feelings of panic, entrapment, helplessness, and embarrassment. Essentially, in a nutshell, she is scared to go out of her house. She covers all of the windows. She does not want to be seen. On top of that, she also suffers from body dysmorphic disorders. She is bulimic. At one point in time, she was this beautiful fitness model, took care of herself, beauty queen, won multiple competitions, but through a series of stressors induced through her life, through other parties, she has started to develop all of these mental issues. She also is severe in OCD. So she's got a lot of stuff going on that is preventing her from living what we would call a normal life. She is so far able to make do, but things are coming to a head. She might be losing her home because her business is kind of suffering, and her delivery men are no longer coming to the door because she can't even walk to the mailbox to get her packages to create the goods that she's been selling online to maintain her living arrangements. Now, when Van encounters Amber, he encounters her trying to get to the mailbox because her normal delivery man cannot come to her. And so she's trying to, with every strength of her being, every ounce, trying to get to the mailbox, and she has a legit panic attack, and Van is sitting on a little bench outside her house, and that's how he encounters her. And he sees this disturbed, broken, gorgeous creature, and he's just like, I want to play, because Van suffers from his own demons. He is voyeuristic in nature. He likes to watch. That's actually what he's doing with Liv. He stalks her. He's very cruel. There's not a nice bone in his body. He doesn't even deny the fact that he's a cold-hearted, sadistic bastard. He does not deny this at all. And he sees this broken flower that he just wants to dig in and pick her brain apart and make it even worse. And he gets into her home and realizes the extent of her mental issues. And so he does his research. Van is a bastard, and he is sick and he is twisted, but he is not stupid. He is not a stupid man. He learns about her condition to the best of his ability, and learns that she can become dependent on people. That is something that is common with agoraphobics. That they are not completely scared of people, but they have very few people that they solely depend on. And he has in the mind, I'm going to become that. So what does he do? He goes to the only way he knows how to do it, and he kidnaps her and he rapes her. It is a very graphic scene. It is intense and it is scary as fuck. But over this captor romance that we now have, Van realizes that he wants to cure her, so she'll depend on him. But by curing her, he's curing his own demons. They are mutually, inadvertently healing each other through their own disorders. And it's such a fucking trip to watch and to read and to experience. And it's just insane with this book. And then by the end, I wrote that it's like a fucked up Beauty and the Beast. There's a moment in this book that is it reminds me so much of the Beauty and the Beast tale, when the Beast lets Belle go because he loves her and she has to go. Van gets to a point in this captive romance that he doesn't want to hurt her anymore. And by becoming her sole dependent, he has literally taken everything away from that she built. He knows that she is strong enough to do this on her own, so he lets her go. And I'm telling you, the beginning of this book, this man fucking raped this woman. There was no love there, and I was bawling my eyes out when this heartbreaking moment happens, and I was just amazing. This book, it's not even a smooth roller coaster. This is like this, and then bam, and then just gradually you're just like, oh my God, it was art. This book was fantastic. I fucking loved everything about this book. The sex scenes got a 4 on the Chili Pepper scale. They were very graphic in content, the language to match. There is a absorbent amount of the use of the word cunt. So if you are not familiar with that word, or you are not comfortable with that word, don't read this book, because that's the word that Van uses a lot. He uses it a lot. There are multiple locations for the sex scenes. There's outdoor sex scenes, which is really, really nice to see. So you have that kind of voyeuristic, exhibitionist style sort of sex fetish that some people have. So that was really nice to experience. Coming from the previous book, where it was all just kind of in this one room, we got to actually open up and expound a little bit on this one. There is a lot of BDSM elements of whippings and very dominant language on behalf of Van. Pam does a very good description of when Van is whipping Amber for the first time outside. The crack of the whip, the way he throws it, the way he releases it, you could tell she did her fucking research, and it's really, really well done. I very, very much appreciated those scenes and how well they were handled and the tact that she used with them. Something you see through the sex scenes is a sexualized, almost sort of therapy. There is this one scene where one of Amber's issues is this feeling that she is dirty and disgusting, and her vagina is not something to be proud of and to celebrate. And Van says, fuck this shit. And he puts her on a bathroom counter and makes her look at herself and talk about herself. And everything that she feels about herself forces her to face her demons. Like, this is one of the ways he's kind of curing her. At least in his way he's curing her is literally, it is There's no hand holding. I'm not sugarcoating this. You're going full bore. Go the fuck outside. You're staying outside. That's the threat if you don't do what you're supposed to. You need to talk about your problems. You need to look at them. You need to see the beauty that is you. And it's just, the scene is just so fucking gorgeous. The way he handles it and the way he makes her feel about her own feminine self is just, fucking Christ, it was great. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. That was a beautiful scene, and he uses it throughout. He makes her constantly describe her sex and her body and how she's feeling, what she's feeling going through things, and how she feels when she's throwing up, like forcing her to look at what she's actually doing. And it's so unnerving and uncomfortable for her that it's working. It's taking her out of herself and getting her past her own mental block so she can see that I can do this. And it's just, the tools he gives her, so when he finally lets her go, she has everything she needs to get through it. And it's such it's so beautiful. So beautiful. Oh my God, I loved it. What worked in this, Van's character arc, it was devastatingly beautiful. That is what I wrote, because he's so dark, he's so depraved, he's so twisted. And by the end, he is that guy that every girl fucking wants. He is an alpha male. He is strong. He is protective. He is forgiving. He is understanding. He tells it like it is, but at the same time makes you feel you're not fucking crazy. It's just, oh God, he's perfect. In this book, it's just, his character arc is fantastic. And it's just, and on top of that, he actually starts cracking some jokes, what makes me even funny. And I'm like, oh my God, you're amazing. I love you. I am a total Van fan now, and I never thought I would say that. Oh my God. Amber's character arc, the growth and the strength that she develops on her own with the tools that Van has forced her to take and use. Just watching her go through these struggles and this torment to getting to where she's at by the end of the book is just beautiful. It is so amazing. It is amazing. The sex scenes, the consensual were fantastic. The CNC scenes were fantastic. The build up, the foreplay, the teasing, just everything was great. I didn't have a problem except for the one rape scene, because it was scary as fuck. It was scary. And the way Pam wrote it, she wrote it to be scary. She wrote it to make you hate this character. So when you have this ending, you're just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, how did this fucking happen? How does this, I can't even tell you the point in the book where I actually started to fall for Van. I can't tell you where it was. I can tell you when I fucking hated him, but I can't tell you when it changed. And it was so seamless. Seamless. It was stunning. Stunning. The tie-ins with the previous installment. Yes, there are some tie-ins. Liv and Josh are not just in book one. That is their story, but they are still very active in this story. So that is why I really highly, highly suggest you do not read this book without reading the first one. Just don't do it. You will lose a lot of the beauty in this book. You will lose it. It's still a great story, but a lot of the nuances and these character arcs that Van and Amber are taking, they need those two. And you need to know what those two went through to actually understand where these two are going. And it's just so beautiful. And Godwin's handling of these dark and sensitive issues and mental illnesses was stunning. She handled it with respect, with tact, with grace. Yes, she used some vulgar language, but there's some dirty talk. Van's kind of a sadistic asshole. He makes a point to do it, so he uses the language to prove it. But everything around it was handled very, very well. I feel that nothing was... Now, I am not a psychologist. I don't even have a psychology major. I am not anywhere in the mental health field, but I feel like from the little that I know, all of these mental issues and severe PTSD issues, bulimia, all of these really delicate issues that are scary to talk about, she handled very, very well. I think she handled them with finesse and tact and beauty, and explained what needed to be explained and allowed you to further your own research if you so choose. She whet your palate enough that if you wanted to and you were interested in this, there was enough there that you had a springboard to go research further if you wanted to. So she handled all of these. Fantastic. Fantastic. What didn't work? There were some things that did not work for me. The length. I wanted this to be longer. There are a lot of time jumps in this book where they'll say 2 months later, 4 months later. And yes, because of the issues that were being dealt with, this is not something that gets fixed in a week. It's not. This is something that these characters will struggle with on a daily basis and have to wake up every morning and actively focus on to overcome. And she makes that very clear and very poignant. But I wanted to see more of the progression. We were informed of what happened, but I wanted to see the struggle with it. I wanted this to be longer. And it was a 10-hour audiobook, 10 and a half hour audiobook. So I would have not mind maybe a 15-hour audiobook. I wanted more of the struggle and the climb through these mental illnesses to where they ended at the end of the book. The arcs I got were fantastic, but I would have loved to just more of it. I wanted more. And the only other thing that I really had an issue with was the speed of the original Forgiveness. So the first consensual sex scene between Van and Amber obviously takes place after the rape scene. And with as graphic as that rape scene was, and as intense as it was, I just feel like, because we actually know the exact amount of time that happens between that and the consensual act. You were informed of that. I just feel like it would not have been that amount of time. I feel like there should have been more time for the level of forgiveness that Amber was giving. She didn't forgive him entirely by any means, but I feel like there should have been more time involved. And that's my only issue with that. But other than that, this book, just, God, fucking 5 stars. 5 stars. Loved it. Loved it. The next book I picked up was Rebel Rose by Emma Theriault. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce her name. This is the first installment in the Queen's Council series, and this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling with a twist. It's well, not even a retelling. You can't really, there we go. It's not even a retelling. It's just Beauty and the Beast with a twist. It is historical fiction, and there is no romance in this book. 0. Slightly depressing. But nonetheless, I gave this thing 4 stars. Very much enjoyed this. This brought me back to my college days. My degree is in history, and my area of history is actually French history. So this was like coming home for me. I thoroughly enjoyed this element. Historical fiction is actually one of my favorite genres to read. As you can see, I have my Philippa Gregory collection right here. She's one of my favorite historical fiction authors, and I love her. And so when I picked up this book, the synopsis of this book is essentially Beauty and the Beast tale has happened, the same fairy tale that we know and love. Nothing is varied, nothing has changed, but now that the curse is broken, the curse has made everybody forget for the last 10 years that this place even existed. And now the curse is gone, so it re-exists back in the time of the French Revolution. The storming of the Bastille, the Reign of Terror, Robespierre, Marie Antoinette saying, let them eat cake. Let them eat cake. Cake. That French Revolution. That's where we're at with this. And it's just, it was so well done. All the political intrigue involved, the struggles that a commoner marrying a prince would have faced, I think are completely legit here. This is more of the political intrigue of dealing with a principality during a revolution where citizens are literally revolting against their monarchy, and Belle and the Beast, who we have found out that his name, we call him Leo in this book, they're being thrust into. And now not only do they have to deal with all these outside factors, but they also have to realize that can our romance actually survive without the curse, without this little magical bubble that we've developed? And it was thoroughly enjoyable. I really, really enjoyed this installment. The tie-ins to the fairy tale were all there because we don't even change the fairy tale. The fairy tale does not change whatsoever. The only element that we get is why the enchantress chose the beast to go to his doorstep. That's the only revelation to the fairy tale that we get. And it's really interesting the way it happens because it does tie in directly with the French Revolution and everything going on. So it was great with that. The historical context, all on point. They placed the Beast and Belle in the historical context very, very well, where they could seamlessly have actually been there. They're not taking so big a part that it changes the history. The history's all accurate, but at the same time, they still look like they're integral parts of this revolution. So really, really well done. And Belle's character arc in this book was fantastic. You see her as this peasant who wanted nothing more than she wanted more than her provincial life. She wanted adventure. She wanted intrigue. And by the end of the book, you realize that she got all of it by still staying exactly where she was at. And it was great. I loved watching her grow from this mindset of, I was never destined to be queen. I was never destined for royalty. And now it's been thrust upon me, and how she still holds on to the original Belle that we fell in love with, as headstrong, wide-eyed, full of adventure girl, and how she takes that character and just makes her grow into this beautiful, wide-eyed queen that wants nothing more than the peace and prosperity of her people. And it just has, watching her ideals change and grow, it was fantastic. It was great character arc. What didn't work was the lack of romance. I really kind of, we get a little bit in the beginning where you see the kind of the oddity. They go to Versailles and Belle has no idea how these people dress, how to act in a court, because she has not been raised in a court. So you see this juxtaposition of, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Leo, help me. And he can't really help her because he's been trained in this his entire life. This is something that comes second nature to him. And so you see this kind of maybe breakdown of their relationship and kind of wondering if it's going to happen, but you never see them you never see them come back to that fairy tale. You just know that he's never going to leave her. It's referenced quite a bit that the bond that was forged during the curse can never be broken because of what they experienced together. So they're constantly referencing this super strong, intimate bond that they have, but you never physically see it because Leo doesn't always listen to Belle. So I was a little disheartened about that. I would rather have seen more of that romance that we got in the fairy tale kind of just come through, because I don't want the romance to die. You never want the romance to die. That when you have a happily ever after, you think the romance still continues. I mean, there's hard times, but there's still the good times. And I wanted to see more of the good times between them. And I just didn't see it. And then the other thing that didn't work was the attitudes towards women, especially non-royal women. During the French Revolution, women still weren't respected. And I just thought that Belle refuses to take the title of princess or queen. So essentially she's remaining a commoner. She just happens to be married to the prince, and eventually he turns king of his principality. So in the eyes of the advisors and the people, she is just a commoner, and they would not have listened to her. So I feel like although they did very well of trying to force her out and not really pay attention to her, I feel like it would have been more, not as subversive. It would have been more blunt, you're a fucking commoner, get the f out. We're not listening to you. We don't have to listen to you. We're nobility, because that was what was going on. And I just feel like, if they did that, we wouldn't have the story. So that I understand why, but I just feel like if we're going to put it in historical context, really put it in historical context, Belle wouldn't have gotten fucking shit done. without the help of a lot of men, which you do see at the end of the book. She cannot do it by herself. She needs the assistance because of the time period that she's in, but it's all her idea and her strength that fuels it. So that was really, really nice. So I gave this 4 stars. This was for my Red Witch and Bitchin' Book Club, and we just got our shirts the other day. I'm super pumped about it. I'm really excited. And this one actually has my hashtag on the back, so I'm going to do a quick little turnaround so you can see it because I'm pretty pumped about it. And hopefully it'll be on camera. So, yep, there you go. I'm official. I have my shirt. I hope that actually like worked out. I hope. If it didn't, I'm sorry. You just saw me turn around the floor for no fucking reason. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so I read this from my Red Witch and Book Club. I was the only one that actually really enjoyed it, but that's because the history major is coming out in me. I felt like I was back in my French Revolution class, talking about Robespierre and the Reign of Terror and hating my life, but loving it all at the same time. So it was a good book. I do recommend it, and I will be continuing with the series. There is a second one that is out, and the third one is, it's supposed to be about Jasmine, the third one, but it has not been titled, and I don't even think they have a set author for it because this series is written by different authors. So, yeah, there we go. And the last book I completed this week was this guy. This was Lords of Pain by Angel Lawson and Samantha Rue. Okay, so reason I picked this book is because I didn't have any more Audible books that were on my TBR, and so I took all of my Audible books that were in my list in my library and I wrote them down and I drew it out, and this is the one that I got. So I was like, okay, cool. We'll check this out. I don't remember exactly who narrated it. I forgot to write that down, but I know the last name is Bordeaux. They are, I believe, a married couple or their brother and sister. I'm not quite for sure, but I will make sure I put them down in the down box below for sure, the details. So this is the first installment in the Royals of Forsyth University, and it is kind of a reverse harem. This thing's fucking... I gave this book 2 stars. I wasn't a huge fan of it. It demonstrates exhibitionism, which if you're not familiar with that, that's a sexual arouser being watched performing sexual acts. This also demonstrates somnophilia, I believe that's how you pronounce it, which is a paraphilia in which an individual becomes sexually aroused by someone who is unconscious. It also demonstrates sadism as well. So there's a lot of newer isms that I have not experienced too. This is my first somnophilia book I've ever read, and that was a weird one. That one took me off guard when I first read it, and I figured out what it was, and I was like, whoa, I had no idea that even existed. So that was kind of cool that I got introduced to new things. But essentially, this book follows Story, that's the female heroine's name, and it also follows Tristan, Killian, and Wrath. Wrath's real name is Dimitri, but we call him Wrath through most of the book, except when they need to actually get his attention. And let me just set this up. So Story is Killian's stepsister. Story's mother marries Killian's dad, and Killian thinks that Story is a gift for him. Killian is used to getting whatever he wants, when he wants, and he doesn't really have to try very hard. And when he does actually try, he's very successful. So he's like all around Mr. Perfect. And he's also, of course, stunning. And they are in high school, and an incident happens between Story and Killian's stepdad that scares her. And so she's trying to get money to get out. And so she creates what they call a sugar babies account. She sends nude pictures, chats with men that will, sugar daddies, which will pay for her and send her money and gift cards, essentially getting her fast cash so she can get away. Killian finds out about the instance between his stepdad and Story. And instead of thinking that his stepdad's a piece of shit, he blames Story. And then there's this encounter in a laundry room where Killian allows his friends, Tristan and Wrath, to sexually assault Story. and uses her Sugar Berries account as blackmail for if they say anything. Killian openly hates his stepsister. Hates her. Does not deny it. Throughout the entire of the book. Hates her. Tristan and Wrath, they just kind of follow Killian's lead. He's kind of the leader of the group. Anyway, Story finally convinces her mom to send her to boarding school, but she's created, through her Sugar Babies account, she has encountered a stalker who is hunting her down and making her life a living hell. So, he hurts people, he's killed people, he scares the crap out of her. So Story, instead of going to the police, decides to essentially make a deal with the devil. She goes to the 3 people that scare her more than her stalker, and it is Killian, Tristan, and Wrath. And they are now in college at Forsyth University. She wrangles a way to get in, and they are the head guys in charge of their fraternity, which is the Lords. Lambda, Delta, Zeta. Lords. And on this campus, all the fraternities have a one specific female that is allowed to live in the frat house and basically is an indentured servant or a sexual serfdom in this instance. And they're taking applications. Story goes and applies for the job, and they take her. She is openly gone to the 3 men that scare her most, 2 of which have sexually assaulted her, and 1 who literally hates her guts and did nothing to stop his friends from hurting her, and signs a contract saying they can do whatever they want to her. She voluntarily does this instead of going to the authorities because she's that scared of this stalker. And this is where our story sets off. So she becomes their lady, and in turn, they do find out that she is a virgin still, and so they decide to make a game of this. Every act that they can get her to do earns points, and by the end of the year, they tally up the points. The person with the most points gets her virginity. And they create a point system like it's down to the T. So if it is oral sex, exhibition times 5 per person that is around, I mean, it is like so broken down, a statistician would have a fucking field day, okay? And they're fucking awful to her. Killian is an ass. He's abusive. He's fucking mean. He doesn't give a shit about her at all. And he's the one that sneaks into her room. He's the only one who has a key to her room. And sneaks into her room and literally jacks off while she's fucking asleep. Tristan is all about the exhibitionism. And he is all about the almost getting caught. But out of the 3, he's probably the nicest, but he mentally fucks with her. He manipulates her. And Wrath, who is probably the most intimidating out of all of them, makes her feel the safest. So Killian physically abuses her, Tristan mentally abuses her, and Wrath emotionally abuses her. And she signs up for this. They specifically itemize stuff that they could do to her in the contract, and she reads it and she signs up for it. My problem with this book is that she is a self-induced victim and she plays it. She gets off on being a victim, but it's not like a consensual non-consent thing. The way this book is written is you're supposed to feel sorry for her, but she did all of this shit to her fucking self. She did it all. These guys flat out said, this is what we're going to do and this is how it's going to happen. Did she think they were going to be fucking different? They weren't in high school. What the fuck, bitch? Come on. I was very annoyed by this book. I was very, very annoyed by it. Just because the heroine with her person did stupid things. Now I understand there's a fear factor. Getting away, the initial actual assault from her stepdad, not her fault. The assault from her brother and his friends, not her fucking fault. The stalker that finds her, not her fault. She was doing a business and this guy's sick and twisted, not her fault. But her voluntarily signing a contract that these motherfuckers can abuse her, use her sexually however she's fit, control her, tell her when she can eat, shit, pee, dress, sleep, go to school, what the fuck ever. That's your own goddamn fault. You signed up for that shit. All right? I don't feel sorry for you. So I felt for her as a character up until she did that. And no point in time she ever think about going to the police. It's never mentioned going to the police. Ever. If maybe she'd gone to the police and they didn't do anything, I might have not had an issue with this, because then it would be like almost like a last resort, but it wasn't. You didn't go to the authorities at all. And it bothered me. I gave this book 2 stars because of that. I did not like the heroine. The male characters, I didn't really, actually I did like them because they at least were honest about how they were. And there was some growth in them. Wrath does soften a little bit, and Tristan, I think when he apologized for his previous act, I think part of it was genuine, the way it was written. So I like to feel that way. But then there is a twist at this book, at the ending, and I was like, oh, well then. Alrighty. So I don't plan on continuing with this series anytime soon, but I do plan on continuing because I want to know how that twist resolves. And then maybe if the heroine can salvage herself to be some kind of redeemable, like maybe she can become this bad bitch now that all of this self-induced shit has happened to her. Maybe she can take it and be like, I'm gonna burn this fucker to the ground. Exactly what she says at the end of the book. Maybe she can. The book was intriguing enough that I want to know if she can, but I am in no hurry to find out because she as a heroine pissed me off and annoyed me. And also, I do not believe I will listen to the audiobook. I had no problem with the narrators. I almost wish there would have been 3 male narrators instead of the same male doing 3 different voices, because he didn't really change the voice. He just changed the demeanor. Not demeanor, like the tone. So Tristan had more of a lilty, like arrogant tone. Killian had more of a gruff tone, and Wrath had like a raspy tone. But it all still sounded like the same voice, and I kind of wish they would have gotten 3 different people to voice the roles. Because this is a multi-POV book. We get points of view from Killian, Story, Tristan, and Wrath. We get points of view from all of them. So I kind of wish they would have given everybody their own voice. But yeah, 2 stars on this guy. Which really sucks because it's a kick-ass cover. I fucking love this cover. This cover's sexy, but this book was not. But the sex scenes, however, the sex scenes were good. The oral sex scenes were well done. The actual sex scene, there's a lot of foreplay-ish scenes. There's not so much actual intercourse scenes. The few intercourse scenes, they were done really, really well. I actually enjoyed them. I liked the buildup that these authors gave. I thought that they wrote them very, very well, and they're very, very tasteful, the way they were written, but the actual plot of the story just didn't work for me at all. So 2 stars. But yeah, that's my week in reading, guys. That is what I've got for you, and I will see you guys all soon with another video.